So, Ben, as far as Nvidia earnings tonight, is the key question around this stock now the sustainability of the boom, the spending, and what long-term projections look like?
Well, the key theme tonight, and I'm surprised nobody's talking about it, is reacceleration. Actually, their data center business took a little bit of a dip on the growth rate and is set to reaccelerate, potentially as high as 60% plus. And I think people aren't talking about that enough because that should continue into the fourth quarter with hyperscaler orders and sovereign orders. So I think business is pretty robust there, and it could reaccelerate on the data center revenue growth. That's what we want to see. Investors generally pay for that. Stock's taken a beating a little bit from the high, so it feels like a lot of bad news might be in this thing. And I think people are going to need Jensen to really explain this circular deal mentality, because I don't think it's stopping anytime soon. So he's going to have to, he's tons of cash coming.
And
so
he's using a lot of it to invest in companies that then turn around and buy his product.
And I thought
but when you say explain it, what do you mean?
Well, I think that people just need to be, this isn't something you can just like say we're going to invest in our ecosystem and then people are like, oh, cool, I get it. Like, no, there's this fear of circular deals. So we need to have him explain very thoroughly, like, look, we're going to, over the next 10 quarters, we think they generate $600 billion in cash. They can only buy back so much stock. So that means hundreds of billions can go into this ecosystem. So he's a steward of this cash. So you can't just say we're going to invest in the ecosystem. Like, he needs to say, hey, look, we're going to, what's his methodology maybe a little bit more, how he thinks these things will return, how he's seeing usage of AI so that he knows it's a good investment. And I just think that this isn't the kind of thing you gloss over.
Do you think he is done trying to influence China hawks?
I think I'm done writing about it.
Yeah.
I've spent enough ink on that where it wasn't worth it. I think that the China situation is unfortunate. I just feel like we got to move on. I think the issue right now is, can the orders be made up for by Saudi? Like, he was just here. And those deals need to come through to fill the void of what the buy side had in their hopeful models.
Well, Jensen was at the dinner at the White House last night. Maybe that's a good sign.
He's doing a good job there. And he's doing a good job with Trump, but, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, no, I look forward to it. I hope he does talk more about the circularity side of things. It's fascinating.
Yeah, I'm excited. Big night.
I think a lot of folks are waiting on pins and needles for this earnings call today, this afternoon, and for good reason. I expect Nvidia is going to put up another beat and a raise, firmly so, I might add. We still have to remember that demand still far outstrips supply when it comes to the AI data center. And the reason for that is the AI data center is we're not only expanding compute capacity, but we're expanding and changing the workload on it. And so it's fundamentally changed. It used to be that the cloud data center was serving web pages or maybe software as a service, apps, to now an AI-centric workload where AI is everywhere, in your phone, in your laptop, in your car, aerospace and defense, you name it, life sciences. And so the workload's fundamentally changed. So we're retooling the data center as well. And Nvidia is still shipping every GPU that isn't nailed down. The supply still outstrips demand by far.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thinking out there is that we want to continue to hear whether this is sold out, or at least that the supply is unable to meet just the amount of demand we're seeing out there. What are you expecting to hear as far as the margins and the moat, as far as any sort of signs of degradation there with regards to the competition, particularly from the likes of AMD, for instance?
Right. Good. Interesting observation there, Sam, for sure. I think the margin expansion is going to continue. What's happening right now is Nvidia is shipping their new Blackwell Ultra GPU architecture. As a matter of fact, the company went on record the other day to say that Blackwell Ultra and the co-optimized rack of the product is some 10x more performance per dollar, performance per watt versus its previous gen Hopper architecture in Mixture of Experts AI models, which is a new, more efficient AI model that's at play these days. And so big, bold claims. I think Blackwell Ultra is going to contribute significantly to their earnings today. So we'll hear more about that, I hope. But I think also the moat is pretty strong in that, again, we're talking about a market expansion story here. AMD is coming on strong now with their acquisition of ZT Systems. They had a financial analyst day last week in New York, and they talked about how their current AI data center CAGR is about 52%, and they expect that to expand to 60% in the next 3 to 5 years based on demand for their MI300 and 400 series GPUs, hyperscalers like Oracle latching onto that. But I think really this is, again, a market expansion story. And so AMD is coming in to mop up some of what perhaps NVIDIA can't deliver on from a demand standpoint. And so I think they're both going to enjoy some substantial growth.
Do we care about China this earnings report?
No, that's an interesting question. I don't think we do. I think that's already baked in. NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang has said that their market share over there has gone down dramatically. I think, again, because demand here in the U.S. and in other regions is so strong that it won't have a material impact this quarter on NVIDIA's numbers. I think a beat and a raise is in order, and it's because they're the big dog, the only game in town currently with Blackwell Ultra.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us today and giving us a little bit of a preview ahead of what is described as the Super Bowl of earnings with NVIDIA's report card. Thank you so much for joining me, Dave, analyst of Hot Tech Vision and Analysis. Appreciate it. Let's trade it now with Tom White, host of Fast Market. Example trade for NVIDIA today, Tom.
Yeah, the option market pretty elevated right now as far as implied volatility levels. Pricing in about a plus or minus 6.5% move in the shares, just over $12 either way. So in the near term, options that expire this Friday, we've got some elevated volatility levels in there. So I looked at a strategy that takes advantage of that higher implied volatility in the near term. I looked at a bullish call diagonal here. If you think the stock's going to go higher, this takes advantage of it, and you get pretty good risk levels based on those IV levels. So going out to the November 28th weekly options, expires in 9 days. We're going to buy the basically at the money 187.5 strike call. And then against that, we're going to sell in the near term November 21st monthly options that expire in just 2 days. We're going to sell the 200 strike call. So there's that $12.5 wide call diagonal and about what the one standard deviation move is pricing in. There. You're going to pay roughly about, I've got a 580 debit on there. The stock was trading above 187 when I priced this out. It's trading closer to 186. So the price on this is probably down to 540 or so. But the debit you pay on this type of strategy is going to be your risk. So if you pay 580, $580. Now, anything above about the 190 level is going to be profitability on this one. And the key here is you're taking a bullish stance, but you're buying a really low implied volatility of about 70% in the November 28th options, selling about 116% in the near-term options. That lowers the input price, but definitely a bullish trade where you need about 1.5% move to the upside to get above that break even.
Okay, NVIDIA trading at 185 and change right now, up at 2.5% ahead.
Just walk us through what we expect in terms of the reporting quarter and in terms of the outlook.
Yeah, so in terms of the quarter they're reporting, that Q3, the market's looking for revenues of about $55 billion, so that will be up about 57% year on year, and EPS of about $1.25, $1.26. I think more importantly, looking to their Q4, the outlook they'll give, the market's looking for them to kind of guide to around $62 billion, so that would be on revenue, that would be up about 58% year on year, so kind of keeping that same momentum that they're expected to deliver for the Q3. And I guess, beyond that, the market will be looking for anything they can do to kind of provide reassurance that beyond this big hyperscaler investment cycle, there's natural demand coming through from consumers and enterprises to kind of sustain the AI momentum into the midterm.
In terms of generating enough revenue, generating enough profit to justify their investment, NVIDIA is not one of those companies that worries this market, right? I mean, they're not trading at incredibly high valuations.
No, I think, well, I said the near term, not a problem at all. They've got like kind of up to $500 billion of kind of expected revenue over the next 12 months or so that they talked about recently. And that's kind of underpinned by the hyperscalers investment cycle. The question is if that investment cycle doesn't get customer demand from enterprise and consumers, then that hyperscaler investment cycle will come to an end quicker than expected, and that would then become a problem for the midterm growth outlook for Nvidia. But for the kind of near term, I think they're in a very comfortable position, incredibly high margins, 75% gross margin business, so in a strong position.
Also, all eyes are going to be on Nvidia earnings. What do you make of the setup here, KG, ahead of this important report card?
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty decent setup. If we're able to hold these gains today, you are seeing some buyers kind of stepping in, not only when it comes to Nvidia, which is up pretty strongly today, but when you're looking at the semiconductor space as a whole, you have Broadcom up right now, up over 4.6%. The stocks is actually looking fairly decent. So you are having some buyers stepping in before this earnings announcement. Now obviously, everybody's going to really be focusing on this. The data center sales are going to be very key here. Last quarter, we did see them actually miss the estimates when it came to data center, but that was really because of supply chain issues. Are they going to be able to meet or exceed those expectations this time around? And what does the commentary really look like when it comes to Nvidia? Obviously, the CapEx spend is going to be a major driver for them. Are they going to continue to talk about that theme, or are we going to see this actually expand out, really talking more about the sovereign expansion when it comes to data centers just in general? The UAE trying to gain chips, Saudi Arabia trying to obtain chips as well, and that could be actually a driver or a different narrative that we've heard in the past. So that's really kind of the setup that we are seeing today. Around a 7% move being implied to the ups or downside here, but we have seen over the last two earnings announcements for Nvidia that the next day the stock actually moves within that range, not really outside of that range. So it will have a lot of implications, especially for the memory space, maybe some of these technology companies here. But we are setting up pretty well right now with the S&P 500 almost notching around 1% gain so far in the session.
Yeah, obviously with the pullback that we've seen in Nvidia, I mean, some do think out there that maybe this is an opportunity giving the stock a bit of a chance of rebounding, particularly if we do get some good numbers there. I'm just wondering, as far as the setup here, some have been sort of talking about how it seems to sort of be a bit similar to how we went into the previous report card, looking a little bit wobbly there. But what are you seeing as far as how it's faring versus perhaps the larger sort of semiconductor space right now?
Well, the last couple of earnings announcements, we actually have seen the stock pretty much trading at all-time highs going into it. So that's really a tough bar there. Stock actually trading at all-time highs. Obviously, everybody's really looking into this. And then once again, we have these expectations. We continue to look for a beat and raise when it comes to their guidance moving forward, especially on the revenue beat. We like to see that between $2 to $3 billion. It has been the trend. Can it be a little bit more aggressive than that? We will see. But now we actually are seeing a pullback going into the earnings announcement. So from a technical standpoint, you actually do have some data there to say, hey, the stock could go higher if it's able to report exactly what we would like to see, or even better than what we would expect. The cracks in the AI theme is not really going to come from Nvidia if you think about it. The cracks from the AI theme right now that the market's concerned about is the debt markets and the issuance of debt in order to finance a lot of these data centers, finance a lot of these projects. And is that the right route to go, right? That's what the market's really focusing on. For Nvidia, all they care about is that money being spent, and it's being spent within their ecosystem. That has been the trend in the past. That's what they have been able to do. And it seems like the market's pricing in that they're going to continue to do that in the future here. We actually have the semiconductor index as well up here on the screen. And this is actually very critical because now we are actually hitting the lower end of this channel within the SOX index that we saw pretty much since, April of 2025, pretty much since those lows. We have not broken that structure yet. So you can make the case that maybe some buyers really do try to step in, because this weekly chart, if we do get bad earnings, Sam, and we break below this structural area support on this channel, you can look at that MACD, you can look at the RSI. This could actually turn around fairly aggressively here. So you're really hoping that Nvidia can really hold this up.
Talk about the fears rippling through the markets one day ahead of Nvidia's earnings.
Sure, Lisa. The S&P 500, as it stands right now, is on track for its longest losing streak since August, on fears of a potential AI bubble and perhaps fears over excessive valuations across the stock market in general. I think many are questioning at this point in time, how much longer can the AI infrastructure spend continue at its current levels? And they're right to question that. They're questioning the excessive valuations of some of these tech companies that are associated with the AI revolution in particular. And I think it's helpful to those investors to remember that this AI revolution will be a very long road filled with many potholes, and there will likely be more losers than there will be winners. However, if investors can identify those winners, and many of those winners will likely be those that have spent money already and continue to have the capacity to spend to stay ahead in the AI revolution, that will ultimately be the winners in the end. But they're going to have to practice patience to be able to achieve that. Of course, Nvidia sits at the hub of the AI ecosystem as I see it. And it's so important to the psyche of investors around not only the stock market, but of the status and the health of the AI revolution overall. But they're not the only company that stands to benefit from the proliferation of AI in society. I contend that investors should still look to the AI infrastructure spends now and ultimately the AI benefactors and implementers down the road.
So they're not the only company, as you point out, but Nvidia, as you also point out, is so key to investor psyche. What will you be looking at most closely in tomorrow's earnings?
Yeah, I believe in all likelihood, Nvidia will knock the cover off the ball once again as it relates to quarterly earning, likely exceeding analyst estimates in terms of earnings per share and revenues. I believe they may even guide higher in terms of their forecast for the next quarter and maybe even for 2026 overall. I'm still looking for a healthy blend between chip revenue and data center revenues, remembering that last quarter, the data center component of their business accounted for 88% of their revenues, whereas the chip business, which they're mostly known for, only accounted for 12%. But I don't think all of that matters. I don't think it will meet the expectations of investors. I believe that even though their earnings and their forecasts will suggest to me as a portfolio manager that the AI revolution is still alive and well, many investors will still question if there is an AI bubble and when that AI bubble is about to burst.